Welcome back to Radical and Relevant, where each day we're exploring the genius of the gospel, the genius of Jesus, and looking for a way to tie our day to the gospel. Today's reading comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verses 12 through 19. In these days, Jesus went out into the hills to pray, and all night he continued in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called his disciples and chose from them 12, whom he named apostles: Simon, who he named Peter, and Andrew, his brother, and James and John, and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, and Thomas, and James, the son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, and Judas, the son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor. And he came down with them and stood on a level place with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from all Judea and Jerusalem and the sea coast of Tyre and Sidon, who came to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And those who were troubled with unclean spirits were cured. And all the crowd sought to touch him, for power came forth from him and healed them all. What jumps out at you today? Is there a word, is there a phrase, or is there an idea? This last sentence has always been very, very interesting to me. It's fascinating to me. What does it say? It says, all the crowd sought to touch him, for power came forth from him and healed them all. They sought to touch him. We read in other places of the Gospels just to touch his cloak. People had such great faith. They thought, if I can just touch his cloak. And they believed that just by touching him, just by touching his cloak, the great power of healing could come from him to them. And then it's impossible not to think of that in the context of the Eucharist and our ability to receive the Eucharist whenever we want. And the power that must be in the Eucharist, whether we are open to it or not. And it would seem to me that being open to it is important. And so to pray today about being more open to Jesus' power in the Eucharist, transforming us, healing us, guiding us, protecting us. And all the crowd sought to touch him, for power came forth from him and healed them all. And power came forth from him. Let's think about that next time we receive Jesus in the Eucharist. Have an amazing day, and remember, be bold, be Catholic,